Corvette badge on a four-door fastback isn't marketing, it's an engineering declaration, and GM means every word of it. By the end of this video, you'll understand why putting the Corvette name on an SUV is either the most dangerous thing Chevrolet has ever done to a legendary brand, or the most inevitable move in their history. There's one decision in this cabin carried directly from the Corvette racing program that changes how this vehicle behaves at its physical limits. I'll get to it. And is a four-door Corvette a legitimate performance machine or an expensive novelty? My answer depends on one specific number. We're covering the interior, the exterior, and the powertrain, and where this brief reportedly originated, not from a product planning committee, from the engineering floor that built the C8R Le Mans race car, and that chain of custody explains everything you're about to see. Here's the most significant decision in this vehicle, and it's not the carbon fiber bodywork, and it's not the sports seats, it's the platform. The Grand Sport X reportedly uses a stretched derivative of the C8 Corvette's front suspension geometry, specifically the double-wishbone front end, adapted for the elevated ride height and all-wheel drive requirements of a four-door body. That matters enormously, because it means the corner behavior is calibrated from a supercar baseline rather than built upward from a luxury crossover. Every other performance SUV at this price point starts with a luxury platform and adds performance hardware. This one starts with a performance platform and adds usability. My opinion, that is the correct engineering sequence, and it's precisely why I take this vehicle seriously despite the badge skepticism that will follow it into every showroom. A Porsche Cayenne starts life as a luxury vehicle. This starts life as a Corvette. Speculative tech number 1, structural carbon binnacle. The carbon fiber arch enclosing the instrument cluster isn't decorative. It's a load-bearing torsional ring bonded between the dashboard crossmember and the A-pillar inner. In high lateral G cornering, dashboard structure flex causes micro-movements in the cluster mount, affecting display alignment at track speeds. The carbon binnacle eliminates that flex entirely. This engineering logic comes directly from the C8R race car cockpit, where display stability above 1.5 G was a design requirement. The platform case is made. The cabin built on top of it is where the racing program's fingerprints are most visible. The instrument cluster hood, that massive structural carbon fiber arch wrapping the entire digital display, is the single most distinctive element in this cabin relative to every other performance SUV at any price. In the C8 Corvette, a version of this architecture focuses the driver's visual field during hard driving. In the Grand Sport X, it's been scaled for the wider dashboard while retaining its function, a visual tunnel presenting only essential information when the situation demands full attention. The tachometer visible in the cluster display, with its 7,000 RPM operating range, tells you exactly what kind of driving this interior was built around. The front seats descend directly from the C8 Corvette's GT2 seat architecture. High Lateran bolsters, segmented thigh support, carbon fiber structural backing with the C8R badge. The C8R is Corvette's Le Mans class-winning race car. The engineers who designed that cockpit's ergonomics reportedly set the performance parameters for this one. That's a meaningful chain of custody, not a branding exercise. Speculative tech number 2, IMU-linked pneumatic bolster system. The sports seat's lateral bolsters use pneumatic bladders connected to the vehicle's inertial measurement unit. As lateral G exceeds 0.6 G in cornering, the bolsters inflate progressively, holding the driver in position without manual adjustment. The engineering rationale: a driver bracing against the door loses steering authority. The seat does the holding, the hands do the driving. Where the execution creates a genuine trade-off, the rear passenger compartment is compromised by the low fastback roofline and elevated center tunnel. This is a 4-seat vehicle in the most honest sense. 2 real seats in front, 2 acceptable seats in back. For anyone coming from a full-size SUV, that's a significant adjustment. It's the right call for a performance-first vehicle, but buyers should be clear-eyed about that trade before the deposit clears. The cabin's performance intent is unambiguous. The backstory behind how this brief was authorized is what reframes the exterior entirely. Here's what I can tell you now. The Grand Sport X brief reportedly didn't originate from Chevrolet's product planning group. It came from the Corvette racing engineering team, the same people who designed the C8's cockpit ergonomics. They set the performance parameters for this cabin. That chain of custody is the answer to the legitimacy question, but there's still one number that settles it completely. The front carbon fiber splitter is the most functionally significant exterior element here. A properly calibrated front splitter at speed generates meaningful downforce on the front axle, counteracting aerodynamic lift that would otherwise cause understeer on a vehicle with this center of gravity. The multiple element design visible in the front view isn't decorative. Each fin manages a specific airflow separation zone at sustained speed. The widened fender flares accommodate a track width and tire section that no standard crossover platform would carry, and the fastback roofline reduces aerodynamic drag relative to a conventional SUV's blunt tail, while the elevated rear spoiler maintains rear downforce balance. These are not styling decisions made independently. They form a coherent aerodynamic system. Estimated overall length sits around 192 inches on approximately 120-inch wheelbase, significantly shorter than the Cayenne Coupe at 195 inches. With a dramatically lower center of gravity, ground clearance appears reduced to approximately 6 inches. This vehicle doesn't pretend to be a crossover. It's a performance machine with a liftgate. The exterior's aerodynamic ambition means nothing without the powertrain to exploit it. The expected configuration is a twin-turbocharged derivative of the C8's LT2 6.2-liter V8, producing an estimated 650 horsepower in AWD configuration. Context: the Porsche Cayenne Turbo GT produces 631 horsepower at a base price of approximately $100,000. The Lamborghini Urus Performante produces 666 horsepower at $270,000. The Grand Sport X delivers comparable output from a V8 that builds power linearly rather than via turbo surge. For anyone who's driven a Cayenne Turbo GT, the power delivery here will feel noticeably more characterful because 8 cylinders with boost carry a throttle response and sound signature that twin-turbo V6 configurations cannot replicate. Speculative tech number 3, predictive torque vectoring with TrackMap AI. The AWD distribution system cross-references real-time GPS with a library of known performance driving environments. When the system identifies a corner approach through GPS position and driver input pattern, it pre-distributes torque before the apex rather than responding to wheel slip. The engineering principle: torque vectoring that reacts to slip is always behind the physics. Torque vectoring that anticipates the corner is always ahead of it. The powertrain and aero case is made. The financial picture is where the Grand Sport X argument either earns its audacity or doesn't. Now, here's what I actually think, and I'll be completely straight with you. The legitimacy question around a Corvette SUV resolves the moment you understand who designed the cockpit. The C8 race car engineers didn't build a novelty. They built a performance machine that happens to have rear seats. And the one specific number that answers the question is 650 horsepower at $160,000 against a 631 horsepower Porsche at $200,000. Pricing for the Grand Sport X is expected to land between $155,000 and $175,000 fully configured. The Porsche Cayenne Turbo GT starts at approximately $200,000. The Lamborghini Urus Performante starts at $270,000. The Grand Sport X delivers comparable or superior output from a V8 with genuine American racing provenance at $25,000 to $45,000 less than the Porsche and less than 2/3 the cost of the Lamborghini. That is a remarkable value proposition in this specific competitive context. On depreciation, Corvette holds consistent used market value because enthusiast demand is durable across model generations. On maintenance, the twin-turbo LT2 is an evolution of a platform with decades of dealer network coverage at substantially lower service costs than the Urus's twin-turbo V8 or the Cayenne's drivetrain. Here's the call. If you want a performance SUV that is first and foremost a driver's car, with racing program provenance, a V8 that earns its displacement, and a price that undercuts both European alternatives meaningfully, the Grand Sport X is the most compelling American answer to Maranello and Zuffenhausen in this price bracket. If 5 full seats, rear headroom, or the Porsche dealer experience are non-negotiables, look at the standard Cayenne Turbo instead. But if driving character is the currency, This is where you spend it. At the Open, I said that Corvette badge on a 4-door fastback was an engineering declaration. Having walked the full picture, C8 derived suspension, C8 Pat R cockpit ergonomics, twin-turbo V8, that declaration holds. I genuinely love your perspective, especially if you've owned a C8 or cross-shopped a performance SUV against a sports car. Drop your thoughts below. If you want to see the Grand Sport X against the Cayenne Turbo GT on track data, that video is right here. If this kind of real, no-nonsense automotive analysis is what you're looking for, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.